Hello and welcome to the Healing Storm Wellness. I'm Shannon, founder of the Healing Storm Holistic Wellness and Apothecary. Here we will discuss various topics associated with holistic health and alternative treatments ranging from around the world and our communities. Hi, and welcome back to the Healing Storm Wellness channel. I'm Shannon, and today we're going to talk about aromatherapy. It's one of my favorite things, and I see so much out on the internet that's awesome, but I also see things that aren't so great. So I just wanted to give a little bit about like an overview of aromatherapy from what I know based on 30 years of experience working with essential oils. Um, I've often heard things like aromatherapy makes me feel better. Aromatherapy reduces my stress. It helps me sleep, makes me happier. Yeah, it can do all of those things. These are common claims, but are they true? Absolutely true. But not all essential oils do all these same things, and not all essential oils should be given to this everybody. So, yes, they're good, and yes, they can do this, but you have to use them responsibly. And that's kind of like what we're going to talk about. So, it's about how aromatherapy really is, what it really is, how it works, and how to use it safely and effectively so that you do get the benefits of all the essential oils that you can use. So, in a blog a couple of weeks ago, I gave the definition based on the Merriam-Webster definition of aromatherapy. And aromatherapy is the inhalation or bodily application of a fragrant essential oil for therapeutic purposes. So, inhalation or on the body. It enhances the well-being through the use of scent. It's not actually the fact that it's on the body. It's through scent. Aromatherapy is all through the olfactory senses. It's all through the nose. So, yes, it can make you feel good just by sniffing it. The Cleveland Clinic goes on to explain that the scent molecules stimulate your nervous system and trigger responses in the brain and body. Inhalation. Even if we put it on the skin, like I said, it's not about being on the skin itself. It's the inhalation by being on the skin in close proximity to our nose, to our olfactory senses. So it's the olfactory receptors in your nose that connect to the brain and specifically areas of mood, stress, and things like that that make aromatherapy work. So yes, it really is simple as breathing in the scent that will help reduce stress, make you feel better, help you sleep, make you happier, and even sometimes reduce the pain. So, how does aromatherapy do this? Technically, it increases the serotonin, the dopamine, the endorphins, and that's what helps improve the mood, improve sleeping. Not only does it help to get to sleep faster, but it's a deeper sleep, and it can even help with digestion and pain. So, it's all about increasing the different chemicals in your brain. It can help relieve headaches and muscle aches, menstrual cramps, and a lot of other types of pain. It's not going to work in the same way as an aspirin or an ibuprofen or a Motrin or a Midol even, or Pamprin or whatever they're using nowadays. It's not going to work the same thing as that. It's not going to be like an Aleve. It's going to work though, and it's going to work in a way that you don't really notice. All of a sudden you'll just realize, hey, I don't have that pain anymore. And it's all from having the olfactory receptors stimulated, which sends signals to the brain, which takes care of all these issues. It's technically been used for thousands and thousands of years by Eastern medicine, by Egyptian medicine, by Chinese medicine. And today it's still practiced. How many of us know somebody who sells essential oils? It is still considered a complementary and alternative medicine when used with modern Western medicine. And it does work. It really does help in so many ways. And it's something that you can do at home that's fairly inexpensive. I say fairly because some of these essential oils can be pretty pricey, but not all of them. So, what do we look for when we're looking at essential oils? We want something that is pure. We do not want chemicals in it, no synthetic scents. We want pure, organic essential oils. Wildcrafted herbs used for essential oils are even better because they're more potent, but cultivated is fine as well, as long as they're organic and they are pure, not watered down, not mixed with chemicals, not mixed with anything, just the essential oil from the herb itself. Here at the Healing Storm, we only use organic oils grown and processed without chemicals. So there's nothing on them. There's nothing that's going to be included in them, even if they were, when they're processed into essential oils from the herbs, there's not been any chemicals or pesticides or anything used on them. So everything that we use in our diffusers and in our blends are all pure. When you want to use these essential oils, the first thing the Webster's Dictionary said, the first thing I'm going to say is use them externally only. Essential oils are not for ingestion. They are dangerous to be ingested. Medical professionals, scientists, official definitions, inhalation and on the skin. That is where we want to go. Mainly inhalation. Many essential oils are toxic if ingested, even those labeled as safe. It may not hurt you the first time. It may not hurt you the second time, but continued use can hurt you. Certain essential oils are worse than others when it comes to that. Some people, I've seen somebody say, put 2 drops of lemon essential oil in this and it'll bring, and the person's like, but I can't taste it. So they're sitting there doing this. It's like, oh my gosh, no. Essential oils are safe when used properly. Ingestion is not being used properly. You should not be ingesting essential oils. That is my biggest pet peeve, and that is something you will hear me say all the time, probably several times through this video. You do not ingest essential oils. They are not made for ingestion. If you want that flavor, use the fruit, use the herb. Use it, not the essential oil. If you want lemon in your tea, use a lemon. If you want rosemary because you have a headache, make some rosemary chicken. Put some rosemary on something. Use the herb, not the essential oil, especially if you're going to ingest. If you want to get a carrier oil, put some rosemary in a carrier oil and rub it on your temples, all good. All good. Do not ingest it. Do not ingest the essential oils. Okay, I think I beat that one to death enough. Some other serious concerns when it comes to essential oils that many people do not think about and do not acknowledge. And this is, like I said, some of this information on the internet's awesome. Some's not so great. But people can have allergies to essential oils. They can go into anaphylactic shock because of essential oils. Because they're allergic to the essential oil. I know people who are allergic to tea tree, to lavender, to pine. Many times they're also allergic to the plant. So if you are allergic to plants, you may be allergic to that essential oil. Even just smelling it can make you sick, can send you into anaphylactic shock. Not everybody, but there are people. I know one particular person who has an allergy to pine. And if they use essential oil or anything that has a real pine in it, they get super sick and can go into anaphylactic shock. So you have to know these things, especially if you're going to use it in a public space. Here we have clients come in. If we find out that they have an allergy to an essential oil or to a specific plant, we make sure the blends that we use on the days they are here do not include those plants. We will change up every diffuser in this place to make sure that lavender is not used on a day a client that's allergic to lavender walks through that door. Also, some essential oils can trigger seizures in people with seizure disorders such as epilepsy. Eucalyptus, rosemary, fennel, tansy, sage. These are all essential oils that can trigger seizures. So again, we make sure these aren't in our blends when we put the diffusers out for the day. But when you're thinking about it, you're not thinking, oh, can eucalyptus cause seizures in my daughter or my son or my friend, or when you have it in your diffuser at home. But this is something that can happen. Does it happen 100% of the time? No. Can it happen? Absolutely. If it can happen, don't risk it. If it can happen, don't risk it. It's not worth the risk to have the eucalyptus smell. There's other things you can use. Don't risk these things. If you're not sure, Google it. Google will have. I've checked this one out. This is how I know. Google does have a pretty good list when it comes to people that can be triggered, have seizures triggered by essential oils, what those essential oils are. And it's not a big list, but it's still ones that are used quite often. Now, does this mean that if somebody eats rosemary who has a seizure disorder, they're going to have a seizure? I don't want to say no, but I don't want to say yes. I think if they ate it every day, it probably could. But if they eat it once in a while, probably not. Just like if they use the essential oil, it may not cause it the first time, but if they're around it a lot, yeah, it can. Again, if it can, don't risk it. The biggest myth is that, oh, essential oils are safe. They're natural. They're safe for everybody to use. Absolutely not. They are not safe for everybody. They are not safe in every way. They are safe when used responsibly and in the correct manner. They are absolutely safe to use, but not with everybody. Hence, allergies and seizures. There's two wonderful examples. Pets. There is a way to use them with pets, but they shouldn't be used directly on pets. They shouldn't be used directly. There are things that can make pets sick in terms of essential oils. Children, again, there's a way to use it responsibly with children, but that's not something you find very easily unless you say, how should I use this with children? And go through that whole rabbit hole. If you just say, can I use essential oils with children? 99% of the time, your search results will say yes. But yes, you can. That's not a lie. It's how you use them. And I say that because it's a percentage base. And we'll get into that in another video. But you can use them safely with children. You can use them safely with pets. You can use them safely with people who have allergies and seizures. You just have to know so that once you're informed, you know how to do all this stuff and when it's safe to do it. So just don't assume that everything's safe in terms of essential oils just because somebody says it's safe. It could hurt people. It can also hurt pregnant women. So carrying the fetus, it can cause premature labor. It can cause fetal development issues. So there's just a lot. You can't just assume it's all safe. It is safe when used correctly and responsibly. So some safe usages. Diffusers, definitely put the water in, a couple of drops. I have 300 milliliters in my diffusers and I use 10 drops. It's enough to make the space smell wonderful. Each room has one, but it's not enough to be more than what is safe. In fact, it's a lot less. On scents that are softer, I might use 15 drops. You can use a little bit more, but you don't want it to go more than like a 3%. That's a safe kind of thing. A ratio, 3%. So whatever, however much water you're in, that's how much in milliliters. That's 3% of the water. So yeah, I do not use, so yeah, I probably use closer to 1 to 2% than 3%, but it still is effective. It still does what it needs to do. And it's not overpowering. But yeah, it's usually about 6 drops per ounce. That's a good ratio right there, 6 drops per ounce. Anything more than that could cause issues. Plugins. They have these beautiful plugins where you get little pads, you put the oil on the pad, you stick it in the plug-in, you plug it in, it lasts for like a week. Don't use these around pets. They're not good around pets or kids, unless the kids aren't toddlers and they know better than to touch them. But definitely not pets. You want to put the oil straight on the pad and not touch the oil on your skin. Straight essential oil is not good to be put on the skin. Should not be put on the skin, needs a carrier oil. It can cause reactions, it can cause allergies, it can cause a lot of issues if you put essential oil directly on the skin. So drop it on the pad, put the pad in the plug-in, or even put the pad in the plug-in and then drop the oil on and plug it in. But we have plugins here too. We have the same scent on the plugins that we have in the diffusers, so everything stays cohesive here. Love my plugins. They're wonderful. Topical use. As I was saying, 3%, especially for topical use. So 20 drops per 2 teaspoons, or sorry, tablespoons. 2 tablespoons, not teaspoons, tablespoons, the big ones. 20 drops per 2 tablespoons of carrier oil. That is what you will use to put it on topically. Never put the essential oil on your skin directly. It's not safe. That is not a safe practice. You can say, well, I've done it before and it doesn't hurt. Okay, keep doing it. That's all I'm going to say. You keep doing you. I'm telling you, based on my knowledge, it is safer for all involved if you put it in a carrier oil at a 3% dilution. So 20 drops per 2 tablespoons of carrier oil. Carrier oil can be a lot of different kinds of oil. Safflower oil, castor oil, olive oil, avocado oil, hemp oil. Lots of oils. Jojoba. Grapeseed. Any oil. 2 tablespoons, 20 drops. That's for adults. If you're going to put it on children, like kids, over the year of like a year, you want it to be a dilution of 0.5 to 1%. So it's like 3 to 6 drops every 2 tablespoons. That is what says safe for kids between the ages of like 1 and 15. Big 15 is still kid when it comes to essential oils. Never use it straight on the skin. Never put it in baths. Never put any, even diluted, on a baby under the age of 1. You don't know what their allergies are. You don't know how it's going to affect them. You don't know if they have seizure disorders. Don't use it yet. They don't need essential oils. If you want to have an essential oil near a baby, put it high up in the air in a diffuser and let it fill the room. That's very few drops. Let it fill the room. It doesn't need to be in their face. It doesn't need to be on them. It's not good for infants under the age of 1. For pets, like I said, you don't want to use the plugins around pets. If you're using a diffuser, up high, just like with a child, up high and let it come into the room, not someplace where it can go directly in the pet's face. They are very, very sensitive, more sensitive than humans to these. So let's keep it out of their faces by setting it up higher. At my house, we have it on top of bookshelves. Yes, I'm 5'2", and it's really hard for me to get them down and fix them and fill them and all that. But I do it because that's safer for my animals. And I have cats. So I'm going to take care of my cats. They're like, they're family. I'm not going to put them in a space where they could be hurt. So that's my negative Nellies talk. Now we're really going to talk about buying quality, what goes into each bottle and things like this. So you really want to choose plant-derived oils, no chemicals. Most essential oils have a 2-year lifespan. So you don't need a bottle this big if you're not going to use it in 2 years. Get a little one or get a 3-ounce one. They can last quite a while. You don't have to refrigerate your essential oils. Keep them in a darker space. I know I got mine in the light right now, but it's very rare that the light in this room is on. 99% of the time, this is a dark room. So they stay there. But being in a dark, cool area is just as good as being in a refrigerator. And the refrigeration does not increase their lifespan, their shelf life, much anymore than what being in a dark, cool room would do. Check out the companies you buy from. Make sure they're a good source. Some companies will water down their essential oils. Some companies will do other things and like cut them with synthetic oils. So be aware that this is happening. If you're tipping essential oil over and it's just flying out, it's cut. It's cut with water or something. If it's taking forever to drip out, it's probably pure. Mine take forever. I use little pipettes to pull it out and because it takes forever. So be aware that sometimes they'll cut it with oil. They'll say it's, eucalyptus oil, and it is eucalyptus oil, but it's already in a carrier oil, but they don't say that. I know it's not good practice, but it happens. So check out who you're buying from. Oils are made from large amounts of plant at one time. So this is why some of the plants or some of the oils are super, super expensive. Rose is super, super expensive. Rose essential oil, real rose essential oil. It takes approximately 726,000 petals of rose to make one 15 milliliter bottle of rose essential oil. And this is why the price can be really high on some things like sandalwood and some of the other ones, and why it's not so high on some essential oils that have a lot of plants and aren't in, crisis. So cost is reflected on quality, but it's also on quantity of the herb available or the plant available. Don't cut corners. Pay a little extra, get the good stuff. The good stuff's going to last you longer. It's going to do more of what you want, and you're safe. So that's literally the overview. Be responsible about your essential oils. Essential oils are awesome to use. We use them all the time. And I love making blends for people, whether it's a general blend or a specific blend just for them and their goals and their health concerns. But you have to know how to use them responsibly. And I know this was kind of like a Debbie Downer or whatever you want to call it, saying don't use it. But I'm not saying don't use essential oils. Essential oils have their place in alternative medicine and holistic wellness. Essential oils have their place in healing when they are used correctly, when they are used responsibly. And that's all I'm trying to get across here is do your research. Use it correctly by inhalation or on the skin. Do not ingest. And be cognizant of who's around when you're using what herbs and what essential oils because they can help, but use them responsibly. So, if you have more questions or concerns about essential oils and aromatherapy, or you have a specific topic about them you would like me to cover, please drop it into the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Also, click subscribe, like, or share. for more real talk about holistic wellness and alternative medicine. We'd love to get this channel flowing and get more information out there. But really respect the power of the essential oils. They're natural, they're helpful, but they need respect. Have a wonderful day.